It is NFL Week 18 Power Rankings time, and let's not waste any time and let's just get right into it. Coming in at number 10, I have the New England Patriots. Now, I know they just beat up on a really bad Jags team, put up 50 points, but Mac Jones looked really good in the game, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson, 19 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got a much-needed win after a couple bad losses to the Bills and the Colts. Helps them in their division race. They just need to beat the Dolphins and have the Bills lose to the Jets. So the Patriots clinching a playoff spot with a rookie quarterback. They're in a really good spot right now. So I have the Patriots at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have the Dallas Cowboys. They had a very disappointing loss to the Arizona Cardinals. They looked pretty bad through 3 quarters in this game. They had chances in this game to win it. Dak, that fumble that led to Arizona 3 points, didn't help them at all. Their defense couldn't get off the field in Arizona's last drive of the game where they were able just to melt the clock. The Cowboys, their offense, very inconsistency. It took them a while for them to finally get going. I think the Cowboys, when it comes to the playoffs, they might be in trouble, and if they have to, use that game against the Eagles to get some momentum and finally get something on offense that they really, really like. Coming in at number 8, I have the Cardinals. Now, their offense, they finally look good after that 3-game losing streak that they had. Their defense played great against the Cowboys, held them to 7 points through 3 quarters. That, like I mentioned, with the Cowboys, they had that great drive at the end of the game just to melt the clock, not allow the Cowboys to get back on the field. They had a very good game offensively. They may have only scored 25 points, but I think that last drive, though, even though it didn't end with any points, just the ability to melt the clock, make the Cowboys defense stay on the field. That was a win that the Cardinals really needed, and the Cardinals still have a chance to win their division if they can beat the Seahawks next week and the Rams lose to the 49ers. Coming in at number 7, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, they did beat the Falcons. However, I think Josh Allen played a pretty bad football game, 3 interceptions. But despite the 3 interceptions by Josh Allen, the Bills were able to run the ball very well. Singletary, 23 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Their defense was great in this game, held them to 15 points, albeit some of the points came on a safety that the Falcons were able to get. So really defensively, they gave up 13 points in a game, which is more than good enough to win an NFL football game. Their defense, like I said, shut the Falcons out in the second half. They have a good defense, but their offense needs to not turn the ball over. Josh Allen can't be throwing these interceptions. And if the Bills want to make a deep playoff run, they're going to need Josh Allen to play like he did last year, where he was an MVP caliber player. But they also need to win next week against the Jets, so that way they win their division. Coming in at number 6, we have the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams are a team that also hasn't been playing particularly well recently. However, they're winning their games, so you have to kind of respect that just a tad, because winning games in the NFL is really hard. However, the way that they've been playing the last few weeks may hurt them when it comes to playoff time. Matthew Stafford has turned the ball over 6 times in the last 2 weeks, and they struggled against a shorthanded Ravens team, but Odell has really stepped up for them. His numbers may not be flashy, but he's scoring touchdowns for them. He's a guy that's very reliable, it seems like, down in the red zone. And he was the one that caught the game-winning touchdown. So even through all the adversity, even through all the struggles, for the Rams to come out with that victory, something that's very hard to do in the NFL. It's really hard to win just one game in the NFL, even if it is against a shorthanded Ravens team. It's a good win for the Rams, and if the Rams are able to beat the 49ers next week in Week 18, they will clinch their division. Coming in at number 5, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, it took a game-winning drive by Tom Brady to beat the New York Jets of all teams. However, as I said before, wins are hard to come by in the NFL, and credit to the Jets, they played a very good football game. The Jets did lead 24-10 at one point in this game, but the Bucs, they got their stuff together. They handled their business in the second half, and they have a whole bunch. They're throwing to a whole bunch of no-name receivers. That's what Tom Brady's having to do right now after the Godwin injury and what AB pulled in that third quarter against the Jets. So, with a team that has a whole bunch of significant injuries, and to be able to still pull off a game-winning drive like that, even through all the distractions, controversies, and all the things that this team is dealing with right now, I think the Bucs are the number 5 team in my power rankings. Coming in at number 4, we have the Tennessee Titans. They are the current number 1 seed in the AFC after defeating the Dolphins and holding them to only 3 points, and the Chiefs losing to the Bengals. The Titans have been able to run the ball particularly well, even with Derrick Henry not there. Foreman had 26 carries, 132 yards. They ran the ball great against the Dolphins. And with the Titans getting Derrick Henry back for the playoffs, I think they're in a very good spot. They beat Texans next week. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC, so that gives Derrick Henry even more time to rest. Then the playoffs in the AFC will run through Nashville, and I think the Titans are they're in a very good spot right now, being able to win all these games, even with all the injuries that they've had this season. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year caliber coach. I think he might win Coach of the Year, just his ability to rally his guys with all these injuries. And so I have the Titans at number 4. Now, this is where things might get controversial. At number 3, I have the Bengals. Yes, I will have the Chiefs ranked above the Bengals. However, the Bengals, that was their first big win of the entire season, in my opinion. They beat the Chiefs on the walk-off field goal. Jamar Chase was absolutely unreal in this game. 11 receptions, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow, 446 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. They won the AFC North title after beating the Chiefs in this game. I know I'll still have the Chiefs ranked above them, but the Bengals, they played a fantastic game against the Chiefs. Jamar Chase was absolutely unguardable in this game. The only reason why I don't have the Bengals ranked above the Chiefs is because this was honestly the Bengals' first big win of the season for them. They have struggled. They lost to the Bears. They've lost to the Jets. I know wins are hard to come by in the NFL, but those 2 losses they do not sit well with me. And I feel like the Bengals are kind of an up and down team, but for them to win their division, they have a whole bunch of good young talent. I think they're going to be good for years to come. So that leads me to number 2, and that is the Chiefs, who, yes, lost to the Bengals, but I still have them at number 2 because everybody's going to be pointing and laughing at the defense. The defense was really bad against the Bengals. Almost 450 yards passing, they almost gave up. Yes, that is terrible. But if you look at the offense, it was fine. The offense was still really good in this game. Mahomes still had 2 touchdowns. The run game was great. Darrell Williams ran the ball well. So the Chiefs team, I really wasn't disappointing in this loss because the offense didn't look bad. The defense struggled, but the defense, I think it was just one bad game that they've had in like 8 weeks. So I think I don't want to give them a pass, but it was also just one bad game in the last 8 weeks. The Chiefs are still the number 2 team in the NFL to me because they still have Mahomes. They still have a great offense. And I think even with one bad defensive performance, I don't think there's really anything to be worried about with the Chiefs. And I still think, in my opinion, they are the favorites in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. So the Chiefs, sorry, very biased, but the Chiefs are at 2. And at number 1, I have the Green Bay Packers. This is where I think everybody will agree. I think the Packers, by far, are the best team in the NFL right now. They clinched the number 1 seed in the NFC. They get destroyed the Vikings. They get to rest their starters against the Lions. Rodgers, 2 touchdowns. Adams, 11 receptions, 136 yards against the Vikings. That combo at some points just makes absolutely no sense. How they're able to just casually be. It looks so effortless. It looks so easy. It makes no sense that it looks so easy. Their defense, we had question marks the last couple of games with their run defense and them not playing particularly well. However, they got their stuff together. The Vikings just absolutely refused to run the ball, which made absolutely no sense to me. But the Packers clinching the number 1 seed, I think far and away, they're the best team in the NFL. I really don't think it's close because my bias is still kicking in right now. I hope we finally get to see a Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, because that would be really, really awesome. Those are my NFL Week 18 power rankings. Give me your power rankings down below, and I will see you in the next one.